Hans Wormhat, somebody recently left me a comment about this, and it's just always a great topic and something that I can just talk about very broadly. All of history is a lie, and BS, it is just all hearsay. There's no evidence for any of it. You just have to believe their narrative or you don't. And once you see that they lie about everything, why would you believe anything that they said about history? It's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of Masonic lies, Masonic theater. Even if things really did happen, it was probably a piece of Masonic theater. You probably were watching theater happen. Nobody really died. And in that way, you really can't believe any history at this point today. We're under the Great Deception. And yeah, these buildings prove it. These buildings are everywhere, all over most of the world, and it probably hints at a Babylonian empire that was over most of the world. And they'll just sell you some fake history about it. Oh, this building was built in 16 oh whatever. No, this is all that you'll get of proof of. You get building photos like this, and they sometimes they'll even say like, oh, this is being built right now. Not for this image. I think that they'll even tell you here that they had to do some renovation. They're always renovating these things, and that's all they've ever done. They might have to add on, they might be adding on a front part to it. Oh, now it's a new building. They add a new front door. But no, the main building that is sunk down, you can just see it sunk down, and these are all over the earth. These buildings were here before the Great Flood, and Noah's flood is real, and that's the truth. The White House being built, you just get these, even in the sketches, it's built already. But it's always been there. They didn't build it. Freemasonry. They're called Freemasons because they got the Mason stuff for free. They got these beautiful masonry buildings for free. Also, founding fathers because they found all these things and they built the New World Order started out of America. I think is really when they went into overdrive with this taking over the world plan. And the founding fathers, they found it. They found this stuff. Finders keepers. They found these buildings. They just had to dig them out of the ground. I mean, even look at these. They already look like they're sunk into the ground. The truth has been there in front of us. Look how dodgy this image looks. This was an image that I could find, but it looks so messed up. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Okay, so I guess this was one image that I found, but it looks so much like photo manipulation. And they do the same thing with Holocaust photos and but still, when you build a building, you don't build it with this like different type of brick at the bottom layer and the windows right at the ground level. This just looks like some doctored up photo. But that was the only one I could find. I mean, look, it's already windows underneath the ground. So yeah, I think that they have to rebuild some stuff. They might even be able to find like when they found this stuff, they may have been able to reuse some of the columns and all that, but this is what they do. They spend a lot of time just maintaining these buildings and it's always going under maintenance, and a lot of times they just demolish the buildings because it's just too much to keep the upkeep. There's very few people out there that know how to do this stone masonry stuff. It's a guarded secret. I guess it used to look a little different. See, but then they can just come in and they'll just add new little pieces to it. I made this, you made this, I made this. You see this all over Trannyland. People will take claim for stuff that they didn't do. They found these buildings. The whole Art Deco thing. Art Deco is taking an old world building and just refurbishing it and slapping some silly designs on the outside. There's some buildings in my downtown they're the Art Deco style, and you just look at it what it is. It's the old world type buildings. It'll just be a building that looks kind of like this, and then they slap some star things on the outside. Finders keepers, losers weepers. This was a pretty good website that somebody linked me once. It had a lot of photos of these old world buildings. So I'll make sure to link that in the description. Wow. They don't make buildings like this anymore. Look how it's sunk. A lot of these buildings, you can tell they're sunk into the ground. It's from Noah's flood. The answer's simple, and it's right in front of you, and it's been in the Bible the whole time. And that's one of their big MOs, is that they have to present you the truth. That's why they'll tell you the truth, but they'll tell it as a joke. That's why they'll tell you history is a lie, agreed upon, because it's part of their MO, it's part of the magic, and they believe in a karmic system, and they think that that gives them some sort of karmic release. Because they can go, well, I told you that it was just a lie, so now you're the dumb one. And it's just the way it is. Buildings in Denmark, I guess. Nobody builds a building like that. These were cool photos. They tell us that all of the major cities have big underground areas, and a lot of shady stuff goes on down there. The underground, that's a real thing. These up here are in Washington, and yeah, I live in the Pacific Northwest. We have the same looking stuff. You don't put windows underneath the ground. And they don't build them like they used to. And if you go look at the old photos, the streets are empty. These are not the types of cities that gross looking people with horses and buggies, and you can tell that these cities were not built by people like that. And when you go watch the old videos and the old footage, you can tell that they're trying to put as many people as they can. They're trying to make it look like, oh, this is a hustling bustling city, but it's very empty. Nothing looks inhabited practically. And even today, a lot of this stuff is Disneyland. You go to Paris, and there are so many really, really nice old style buildings, and you just look at it and you can tell that doesn't look like anybody actually lives there. There might be a guard sitting outside or something, but they probably just pay some guard a decent wage to just sit outside, and that's it. And probably nobody lives there. And I see that in my local downtown area. There's these beautiful old world above like prime location, but you just see like broom handles and it's just empty and unused. They don't want people using these buildings, so they just remain empty. Even today they're empty, but you can look at the streets like this and it's just so empty. It's they wouldn't build this much, and they don't even have the manpower to build this much. So it's another obvious truth when I look at those things. Even today they couldn't build these cities if they wanted to. They just don't have the resources or manpower or coordination. It would just be a nightmare. But of course, always be careful. These photos that, or something on this page where I got all those photos, look at this person's name, Wiz33. And so that's just a point, deceiving and being deceived. Even these Masons don't know the answer. It's all compartmentalized in Trannyland. It's all ordered chaos. They don't go around telling all of them all the little secrets. It's up to people to teach their own, teach people that are close to them. They got to keep it like a secret, even among trannies. And they don't all know the answers. A lot of them are just so dumb, and their whole existence is just about TV and social media, and that's it. They don't think about this stuff. But there are some, people with the username Wiz33 are trying to figure it out, trying to figure out this mystery Babylon. So don't think that they have all the answers. It's very compartmentalized, this knowledge. You have to go submit yourself to the system to learn a lot of these truths. And yeah, history is a set of lies agreed upon. Napoleon Bonaparte's probably not even a real person. But this quote or quotes similar to this are often attributed to Napoleon. Probably not a real person. I guess an interesting thing, I've seen the tomb of Napoleon, and it's this huge, huge casket looking thing. I mean, it doesn't even really look like a casket. It's just the strange box. Maybe it's a giant skeleton in there. I don't know. But the famous people, the Bible says that they were giants of old. So the actual descendants of angels mating with women, not just like the inverts that we have today. Here's a quote by Mary Lou. I don't know who this is, but it's a truth. All it takes is one generation to brainwash a population and convince them that reality doesn't exist. And the second one by Vladimir Lenin. Give me just one generation of youth and I'll transform the whole world. What do you think of that? The word choice there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. God bless everybody.